Xianxia had become a small flying insect again, and no one entered the crack yet. The young experts that came here all looked to be better. They did not immediately enter, but chose to fight instead. Seems like many forces have joined together to deal with this Phoenix Princess. I'm afraid that this Phoenix Princess will not be able to enter that crevice. Long Shui said. Xianxia looked at the mountains on both sides of the crevice. The mountains were so tall that one couldn't see the top, and if he wanted to reach the summit of these mountains, it would definitely be difficult. Look up, Long Shui said. Xianxia immediately looked above the Phoenix Princess. A cyclone actually appeared, and Phoenix Princess also seemed to be locked on top of it, making it difficult to leave this region. Although that Feng was powerful, she was very afraid of the fire rings in her hands. It's the Heavenly Dragon Seal. It's being used by the Imperial Dragon Clan. It's actually 2 against 1. It's not 2 against 1, but to group up and beat this Phoenix Princess. Look at the young experts of the other forces. They are all ready to make a move. Long Shui said. Xianxia looked at the dozens of men and women in front of the crevice. They had all taken out their immortal swords and treasures, and were all together. The Heavenly Dragon Seal descended and directly struck Phoenix Princess. The locked-on Phoenix Princess was hit squarely in the face, and her reaction was also timely. Her arm had turned into a giant flaming wing, using her flaming phoenix wings to block part of the attack, but she spat out a small mouthful of blood. Let's go. Looking at her special innate Qi surname, she should be from the Divine Wind Heavenly Kingdom, which means she was Feng Clan S of the Tong Tian aristocratic family. As she shouted, a group of young experts holding onto their immortal swords rushed towards Phoenix Princess. Help her. She helped you before, Long Shui said. She also could not bear to see such bullying. I know. I'm waiting for an opportunity. Xianxia was very clear about his own strength. If he was surrounded by those young warriors, it would be very difficult for him to deal with them. Phoenix Princess was currently very angry. If she fought alone, she would definitely win, but she did not expect to be ambushed by Imperial Dragon Clan's Heavenly Dragon Seal, and there were still more than 10 young experts from other forces rushing towards her, blocking her escape, as though they wanted to kill her. Imperial Feather Race and He Pei Qing, the new king, had always been at odds, and it was normal for the two to be surrounded and attacked. She was a phoenix, so her body was incomparably precious. Even the holy dragon of an Imperial Dragon Clan couldn't compare to her. Phoenix Princess was very strong. Facing the onslaught of so many people, although he was severely injured, he could still hold on. His entire body was covered in raging flames, as he controlled the dual rings in his hands to attack the young experts around him. Xianxia had already snuck near the Phoenix Princess. He was currently only a few hundred meters away from the Phoenix Princess. He had to endure the shockwaves of the battle and get closer to it little by little, so that he would not be discovered. You shameless things are all from prestigious families. I didn't expect you guys to do such a thing. At this time, she was already covered in wounds. If not for the phoenix blood which allowed her to regenerate, she would have been taken down long ago. You can't let us who are not part of this alliance enter this path. Even faster, you are the Imperial Feather Race. You have once prevented my royal father from ascending the throne, and you, the Imperial Feather Race, brought this upon yourself. As He Feng was speaking, that Imperial Dragon Clan unleashed another Heavenly Dragon Seal, and it was a Flash Dragon's punishment for this sudden attack. The severely injured Phoenix Princess was suddenly struck by lightning and cried out. Her entire body felt numb and she was unable to use her powers for a moment, causing her to fall from the sky. I want your Phoenix Elixir. He Feng laughed out loud. He dove down from the sky and chased after Phoenix Princess, the immortal sword in his hand piercing towards Phoenix Princess. Just as Phoenix Princess was about to lose all hope, she suddenly saw He Feng's wildly laughing face suddenly freeze, followed by the appearance of a ray of cyan light. She only saw a beautiful cyan arc appear, accompanied by the sound of a resounding dragon cry. Green Dragon Demon-Slain Broadsword. Although Xianxia was quick to retract his blade, anyone would be able to catch the mighty green dragon blade body. and the overbearing aura that was filled with might immediately allowed people to recognize the blade. Xianxia, who suddenly appeared, cut off He Feng's arm and took away his arm and the immortal sword. It was not the first time someone cut off He Feng's arm and stole the sword, but the second time. Previously, it was also Xianxia who did it, but he did not know that it was Xianxia. Xianxia cut off He Feng's arm and traveled downwards, grabbing onto Phoenix Princess's body. Stepping on the shrinking step and using the spatial travel, he managed to enter the crevice in a few moments. After entering, he threw out a few more destruction ice sealdan and froze this path. Soon after, Long Shui also appeared. He smashed the two sides of the crack behind Xianxia. They wanted to block the road. Xianxia was running very fast in the crevice, but Long Shui was able to release a powerful divine ability from inside the ring, causing the two walls to shake violently, and causing a large amount of huge rocks to fall. Phoenix Princess only saw Xianxia's sudden appearance before he fainted. At this time, Xianxia was still carrying him, running frantically through the crevice. After 3 days and 3 nights passed, Xianxia was very safe inside the crevice, and along the way, Long Shui was in charge of blocking the way. As for how he was going to get out, that was a matter of the future, and the most important thing was to make sure that he wasn't being hunted down right now because his identity had already been exposed, and there was still the group of experts from Dragon Emperor that was behind him. Phoenix Princess was heavily injured, but Xianxia was not worried about her. Her recovery rate was much better than Jimexian's, and in the past 3 days, he could feel that the injuries in her body had recovered a lot. I can't stop yet, at least in 10 days. Although Dragon Emperor and the rest of the people are fighting with the ancient beasts, but He Feng and the other little ghosts can't be underestimated. Long Shui said. Xianxia had been running inside the crack for 2 days, and it was very dark inside. On both sides were 30,000 meters high stone walls. There's a fork in the road, the leftmost one. Su Meiyao said. She had already memorized the map and was following the route on the map. Then I won't be blocking the way. Long Shui also stopped blocking the road behind him, and there were 4 paths here. After 5 more days, Xianxia had been running frantically in the crevice for 10 days. The Phoenix Princess had already woken up, but she was still weak, and currently, Xianxia was carrying her on his back and running hard. Although Xianxia was running very fast, it was very smooth and did not make her uncomfortable. Thank you, Phoenix Princess whispered into Xianxia's ear. She, who was extremely weak, was speaking with a very soft voice while spitting out an orchid. Feeling that someone was blowing next to his ear, Xianxia's heart slightly trembled. You're welcome. You helped me before too, but now we owe each other nothing, Xianxia said. So the person who used the stone tablet to hit the night devil was you. Phoenix Princess suddenly understood. Xianxia was indeed quite weak, but she had a lot of methods up her sleeve. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to save her. Don't talk. Take good care of your body, Xianxia said in a low voice. Yes. Phoenix Princess replied softly as he placed one side of his face on Xianxia's shoulder and fell asleep very quickly. If she wasn't so weak right now, Xianxia really wanted to ask her about this crevice because she, Imperial Dragon Clan, and those people from the big powers all knew about it. Xianxia traveled for a few days and discovered that there would be forks in the road every so often. There were 4 of them every time. If not for the map, he would not even know which one he would have chosen. However, Xianxia was still carrying her on his back, because her internal injuries were still very severe. Although walking and running was no longer a problem, it could not be used in large amounts, and her speed would not be too fast either. Right now, Xianxia did not dare to slow down, as he was worried that the Dragon Emperor behind him would catch up. Are you better now? Xianxia asked. It's much better now. Put me down, Phoenix Princess said gently, with a smile on his face. No, you can't run fast now. What if the Dragon Emperor catches up to you? That guy hates me to death, and if he knows I'm here, he would chase after me without caring about anything else, Xianxia said. When Xianxia ran on the shrinking step, it was as if his entire person was walking on a great river. He moved forward quickly along with the smooth flow of the water, and didn't feel any bumps like when he was running. According to the piss of those bastards, I reckon when they saw your father, They would even fabricate a lie saying that I kidnapped you, and then your father would work together with the Dragon Emperor to open up a path. Xianxia said. Phoenix Princess let out a light sigh. She was very clear about Xianxia's current situation. Previously, her father Phoenix had also had the idea of stealing Xianxia's divine blade or something similar from him. Who asked you to kill that Prince Imperial Dragon, as well as that Sacred Dragon's clan's few Dan Immortal? It would be weird if Dragon Emperor doesn't hate you to death. Phoenix Princess said, You're really bold. That idiot Prince Imperial Dragon always wanted to kill me, and he really met a good opportunity to kill me, but he looked down on me too much, and I killed him in a few moves. Xianxia laughed. If you were like that Prince Imperial Dragon who treats me well, when the time comes, I would act a little more softly against you. Do I look like that kind of bastard to you? The Phoenix Princess said with bitterness. Who knows? In short, I need to be on guard against anyone who doesn't know how they died. Xianxia was indeed on guard against the Phoenix Princess, so he left all of them in Long Shui's charge. How did you get here? And you seem to know the way. Phoenix Princess also had this question in his heart. I was about to ask you, you royal birds, does Imperial Feather Race have a map? Xianxia asked. But that map is not complete. Only a small part of it, combined with the Imperial Dragon Clan, Fire Divine Palace, Devil Suppressing Divine Palace, and those forces that have the power of heaven and earth, can obtain half of the complete map. As for this complete map, it has already been printed all over the streets, but there is no route. The Phoenix Princess said. So it's like that. Then do you remember the route? Draw it for me to see. Xianxia said. He wanted to see if the route was the same. Every major power had kept a small fragment of their map. Phoenix Princess took out a piece of paper from his storage bag and handed it over to Xianxia. It's different from the safe route on your map. I don't know where they will go, even the destination is different. Could it be that the map their ancestors left behind also contains treasures? Su Meiyao saw through it with a glance. At the first fork in the road, Xianxia took the leftmost path, while the one on the map of the Phoenix Princess took the rightmost path. Is it the same as yours? At this time, Xianxia also stopped. If it was different, they would not have caught up, because in the eyes of the group of people, the road they were walking on was probably the one they were walking on. It's not the same. Xianxia shook his head. Phoenix Princess frowned. Then is the road you're taking dangerous? Do you see any danger along the way? This is only within the crevice. In the end, we still have to leave the crevice. It's hard to say when we go outside. The Phoenix Princess was worried. The depths of the night devil hell was extremely terrifying. Even immortal kings could die without reason, let alone with their strength. Xianxia returned the map to the Phoenix Princess and said, I need to rest now. After running for so many days, I'm tired. And, do you need any medicinal pills? I have some with me that can help you recover faster. Phoenix Princess took out a small jade box. Not to mention that the other party had already passed it over. So Xianxia directly accepted it with a smile. What pill is this? Xianxia received a pill that was as red as blood. He could not feel the spirit energy contained within the pill, and was unable to determine what rank it was. The Phoenix Blood Pill is formed from a large amount of Phoenix blood. After being processed, it is then preserved. The Phoenix Princess said, It will be of great help to the humans. Quickly eat it. Even Long Shui wanted to try it. After Xianxia consumed it, the Phoenix Blood Pill melted in his body and immediately fused with his Jade Dragon blood, allowing it to quickly flow into his entire body. Originally, his body felt extremely tired, but now, he felt that his entire body was filled with energy. Phoenix Princess, this thing is very precious. Not only can it help people recover quickly, it also seems to be able to help people's blood and bones to have the special characteristic of Phoenix blood in the future. Xianxia had assimilated a Jade Dragon blood before, so he knew that this could only be accomplished with a large amount of Phoenix blood. It's nothing. Phoenix Princess smiled sweetly. Call me Xueying. That's my name. Xianxia thought that the name of the Phoenix Princess was very similar to Xueyi. Phoenix Princess built a fire. Her phoenix eyes stared straight at the dancing flames. No one knew what she was thinking, as though her heart was heavy. Shuang, what plans do you have for your injuries to be healed? I can't bring you to that place, it is very important to me. There must be danger there, although my strength is not as strong as yours, but you can't compare to me. Xianxia said. I know. Otherwise, you would not be able to save me. In that situation, it would even be very difficult for me to escape. Of course, Phoenix Princess knew about Xianxia's ability to protect himself. When surrounded by Dragon Emperor and the other rankers, not only would they be able to safely escape, they would even lose out to and the others. I will return on the same path. My father will definitely enter this crack as well. I should be able to meet with him. Phoenix Princess had already made her decision. Just now, she had also eaten a phoenix blood pill. Her complexion was already very good. It seemed that she had almost recovered. It was night now, and perhaps because the crevice was too deep and the mountains were on both sides of it, the voices of the night devil could not reach here. Shuang, in the future, can you become the Phoenix Emperor of the Imperial Feather Race? Xianxia smiled and said, I don't want to become your enemy. That's still far. My royal father only dares to call himself king, not as arrogant as the Dragon Emperor. He became an emperor before reaching that stage. Phoenix Princess chuckled. I don't want to become your enemy either. Speaking of which, I have to thank you again. Help me get rid of this loathsome Prince Imperial Dragon, if he doesn't die now, and his strength is on par with mine, according to his personality. He will definitely come looking for me to duel every day. Xianxia and Phoenix Princess chatted all the way until the daytime, and now she was in her best condition. We'll definitely meet again in the future. Take care. Phoenix Princess smiled and bid farewell to Xianxia. And, until we meet again. After the Phoenix Princess left, Xianxia also continued on his way. It could be said that he was temporarily safe until the end of the road. He would not know, after all the route on the map was from many years ago. Who knows if it was still the same as before. The next time I see her, I'll shamelessly ask her for a little phoenix blood. Adding your jade dragon blood s. That's the most impressive. Long Shui said, in the future, when your bloodline matures, it will be of great use to me. I wonder where that devil-killing summit is. Xianxia felt that he had already entered the depths of Night Devil Hell. He wanted to find that devil-killing summit on his way. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu also wanted to. If they could find the young master that knew how to refine pills in the devil-killing summit, they would be able to quickly recover to their previous peak strength. But that was easier said than done. Their master's strength could even cause heavy injuries. Even if Xianxia had the powerful ability to escape, it would still be useless here. Even my master doesn't know about this. If he had known back then, he wouldn't have returned with heavy injuries. If he wanted to find the devil-killing summit, he would need to be led by someone from the devil-killing summit, or else don't even think about it. Su Meiyao said, most of the experts who claim to be from the devil-killing summit have never been to the devil-killing summit, but they did receive the devil-killing summit's inheritance, such as your master, that old lunatic, and us senior and junior sisters. From the route drawn on the map, it seemed like there was a long way to go, almost to the center of Night Devil Hell. Wasn't this the sacred beast's ancient realm? Why did it become the Night Devil Hell? I wonder if the sacred beast's ancient realm is still here, if there are still holy beasts inside. Xianxia looked at the map. The last destination of the route was a very big valley. Probably not. No one knows what happened back then. But a group of holy beasts disappeared. They probably went to an even higher realm. Then, wouldn't the super old fire beast and ice dragon be the ones? Long Shui said, the resources of the sacred beast's ancient realm have already been used up, so we are unable to produce any more powerful holy beasts. After running for more than 10 days by himself, Xianxia finally saw a bright light in front of him. He was finally about to leave the crevice, and this was only a small portion of the map's route. This route would allow him to safely enter the depths of the Night Devil Hell. Xianxia stood at the end of the crevice, and this was the crevice of a tall mountain. At this moment, he was halfway up the mountain, and when he looked outside, he could only see a sea of jade-green trees, and at the very beginning, a blurry green shadow of a tall mountain. A cool breeze blew, causing him to feel that he was not in the legendary terrifying Night Devil Hell, but instead in the beautiful mountain forest. He raised his head and looked up. There was no such thing as a thick fog. He could see the blue sky and white clouds and the birds flying. No matter how he looked at it, it did not seem like he was in a dangerous hell. I wonder where the road they took will go. Xianxia had seen the map that the Phoenix Princess gave him. If this place is used as a location to hide treasures, then it would be very good indeed. However, it would also cause the death of many people. Su Meiyao said. Xianxia looked at the ancient forest below. The trees were all very tall and big. Hence he quickly found a huge boulder inside the forest. The boulder was as big as a small mountain, and there was a small hole on the boulder that could only fit one person. He could see the boulder, but it would take him some time to get there because the boulder was in front of him, and all he could see from there was a small dot. Little naughty dragon, can you see the danger in this forest? Xianxia used the spirit traveling technique and quickly took a stroll in the forest. Other than the fact that it was relatively cool, there was nothing else out of the ordinary. I didn't sense any danger, but it's hard to say. This is the deepest part of the Night Devil Hell. Long Shui said. Although the place looked peaceful, Xianxia would never believe that it was safe here. He turned into a bird and carefully flew above the forest. Just as he flew into the forest, his surroundings suddenly darkened, followed by an extremely evil aura. Looking down, he saw a dense cluster of little night devil. These little night devil were very small, only the size of a child. Their entire bodies emitted a faint greenish-black light. What's going on? Xianxia was overwhelmed with shock. Those little night devils below seemed to be inside a beehive. Each grid had a little night devil on their side. The lush and verdant forest from before had already disappeared. This endless night devil gave Xianxia goosebumps. This was actually the lair of a night devil, and it was extremely huge. What made him astonished was that these night devil grew very fast. He already knew that the blue sky and beautiful scenery he saw before was fake. But now, this place was completely dark and the lair of the young little night devil was everywhere. However, the gigantic boulder in front of him was real, which made Xianxia feel more at ease. He was only worried that there might be little night devil inside the cave. What a powerful magic array, even I was fooled by it. This kind of powerful magic array is not something that the night devil can set up. Someone must have done this on purpose, to protect the lair of the night devil. Who exactly is it, and what is it for? Long Shui sank into deep thought. Xianxia also wanted to know the answer but no one told him. However, he knew that the devil-killing summit might know something about it. He continued to fly forward, and then he saw many little night devil holding onto an ellipsoid the size of a watermelon. These ellipsoid emitted a faint green light, and were placed into the hexagon by the little night devil. Night devil had the same wings as the bat, and their flying speed was extremely fast. At this moment, they were like diligent bees, carrying a large amount of night devil eggs. Many young little night devils gradually grew up after absorbing the large amount of immortal chi here. Xianxia could see many young little night devil flying out, and their sizes were much smaller than those of the other little night devils. This was how late period of human immortals little night devil was born. Xianxia was curious how so many night devil eggs were born. He realized that he was at a place that was deep underground, and this place was like an ant's lair. Large numbers of little night devil were born every second. No wonder there were so many little night devils in the past. If you really thought this place was safe and flew in directly, you would definitely alert these night devil. They might even be hiding the night devil king, and then you would be in deep trouble. Long Shui could not help but feel goosebumps all over his body. This was the lair of the night devil. The route on the map could actually bring people here. Maybe there's more than one lair in night devil, Su Meiyao said. Xianxia did not release any energy at all, and furthermore, he had hit it well, so when he found out that this was the night devil's lair, he immediately became smaller. While flying, he discovered there were a lot of holes on the surface which probably led to the ground. Right now, he still had something important on him, so he did not investigate where these night devil eggs came from. After flying slowly for half a day, he finally arrived at the small mountain and entered the mountain cave. At this moment, he heaved a sigh of relief because Night Devil did not enter the cave, It seemed to be because there was something inside that night devil hated. He entered the cave. The cave led downwards, and it was pitch black inside. According to the map, this was the entrance to the second section of the safe route, and this section of the road was not as long as the first section. However, in this underground passage, he felt uncomfortable. It seems that when I was drawing this map, there was already a night devil present, so these safe routes could ingeniously avoid those night devil. Although this is their home, as long as you are careful, you won't encounter any powerful night devil. Even if you were discovered on top of it, you can quickly enter this passage. Long Shui said. Could it be that these night devil already appeared when they were still around? If these night devil had existed for so long, with their amount, they could definitely evolve into a very strong night devil. They might even be existences that surpassed the night devil king. At this moment, Xianxia had a deeper understanding of the night devil hell. Originally, it was true that this was the sacred beast's ancient realm, but now that the sacred beast's ancient realm was no longer here, it was a completely different world altogether. What caused him to feel fear in his heart was that these night devils were born for what reason. This was because the night devil lair was protected by an extremely powerful illusion formation that even Long Shui could not see through. It only took him 5 days to fly out of the tunnel. This passage led upwards, so after he flew out, he confirmed that the world he saw was real. It was definitely not the realistic illusion he saw before. The thick fog is gone, but it is still shrouded by a layer of death aura. Xianxia turned into a bird and flew at a low altitude. At this time, he suddenly saw a gigantic silver-white mountain in the distance. There were a lot of green mountains beside the gigantic mountain, which could be considered to be extremely huge. That's the devil-killing summit. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao shouted in shock at the same time. It's a silver-white mountain. Bai Yuyu muttered to himself. Young master has told us this before. He said that if you see this mountain in the night devil hell, you better not think that you can enter the devil-killing summit just because you saw it. If you do that, you won't be far from death. Xianxia looked carefully at the gigantic mountain. Even though it was very far from him, it still gave off a holy and solemn feeling, and the silver multicolored light that it emitted made people feel fear and reverence towards it. It was the mysterious devil-killing summit, and the people that came out were all people that could cause chaos and slaughter throughout the 9 heavens. However, there had not been a single devil-killing summit ranker in a long time. I really want to go over and take a look, Xianxia said. Don't go. Going now is equivalent to seeking death. Su Meiyao said in a serious tone. Follow the route on the map and do not deviate from the path you took. The reason you were able to come here safely and even see the devil-killing summit was because of the map. Bai Yuyu's voice was very cold. Xianxia immediately dispelled that thought. Right now, he really could not take any risks, but what made him curious was that the devil-killing summit in the distance had always been maintaining a distance from him. Even though he had flown a distance, he still felt that there was no change in the distance between him and the devil-killing summit. Right now, he was flying above a lifeless forest. Although the trees in the forest had lush branches and leaves, they were lifeless and looked gray and filled with death chi. Xianxia suspected that it was caused by the night devil lair deep underground. Xianxia had followed the route on the map, and right now he was going to the entrance of the 3rd section, so he had to be careful. However, after Xianxia had flown for half an hour, the sky suddenly darkened and the land became shrouded in darkness. However, the devil-killing summit in the distance was still emitting a silvery white light, which made him look even more holy and solemn. What's going on? Xianxia felt that something was amiss. He said that it would be dark once it got dark, and it was not covered by the dark clouds, but rather it made people feel like the sun had suddenly set. Time, what power is controlling time, causing this place to suddenly speed up and enter a very wonderful state? Long Shui said in shock. The sky had darkened, and what had annoyed Xianxia had happened. It was the night devil's howl, and he had no choice but to seal his own ears, or else he would have gone crazy. Something's coming. Hearing Long Shui's reminder, Xianxia saw a green light shooting towards him. In front of him, a night devil suddenly appeared and shot out a long tongue. Xianxia immediately dodged, then increased his speed and flew forward. wanting to get rid of Night Devil. It's the Night Devil King. He has his eyes on you. The Night Devil King originally thought that he could easily eat the bird that appeared in the darkness. But who knew that the bird would suddenly dodge and even accelerate its escape? Night Devil King immediately chased after it. He would never let go of the prey that was about to come out of his mouth, even though eating this bird was not beneficial to him at all. Didn't they say that all of the Night Devil Kings have intelligence? Then this guy is just like a stupid pig, chasing after this damned bird. No matter how I look at it, he doesn't seem to be an intelligent guy. He did not want to create unnecessary trouble. This was the territory of the Night Devil, so if he were to create any disturbance, there would be thousands of Night Devil that would appear and become a sea of the Night Devil. After chasing for half an hour, Night Devil King was also furious. It was just a broken little bird, but he had not eaten it even after chasing for so long. The Night Devil King stuck out his long tongue from behind, wanting to entangle Xianxia with his tongue and then suck him into his mouth. Who knew that Xianxia would always be able to dodge it? Damn this Night Devil. I can't take it anymore. Xianxia's body suddenly flashed with a golden light, revealing his true form. When he had changed into his original form, he released a very strong demon suppression holy light, shining down onto Night Devil King's body in pain, his eyes becoming even more piercing. After Xianxia changed into his original form, he immediately took out his devil-suppressing mirror and imbued it with a very strong devil-suppressing holy power, taking fierce pictures of the Night Devil King. This kind of Night Devil's body contained an extremely evil power, and the devil-suppressing holy power was extremely destructive towards them. Xianxia used the light emitted by the devil-suppressing mirror and pierced a few large holes on the Night Devil King's wings, and the skin on his body was burnt so much that black smoke rose out of it. If the devil-suppressing holy power were to land on the bodies of these evil beings, it would be able to purify and melt them. Therefore, all the great powers had to look at the devil-suppressing divine palace before they came here. Night Devil King never would have thought that the bird he was chasing would suddenly turn into a human, and even released that kind of light that he hated the most, catching him by surprise. At least this Night Devil King had the strength of an immortal monarch, but just as he was about to counterattack, he suddenly saw a large golden seal pressing down on him, striking his body in the blink of an eye. Xianxia released the holy devil-suppressing seal. He wanted to quickly finish off this Night Devil King, and the word suppress from the holy devil-suppressing seal ruthlessly hit the Night Devil King's body, making it feel as if the Night Devil King was pressed down by a burning red mountain. If you're not courting death, you won't die. Xianxia suddenly retracted his holy devil-suppressing seal, took out his green dragon demon-slain broadsword, and injected it into the devil-suppressing holy power. From the beginning, the Night Devil King did not even have time to react. Just as he wanted to resist, he was attacked by the demon-suppressing sacred artifact, which destroyed the condensed power in his body. Then he was struck by the sharp green dragon demon-slain broadsword again. Xianxia's move was already at the peak of perfection. To be able to catch him off guard and to be quick and accurate, even the Night Devil King that was much stronger than him would die. After getting rid of the Night Devil King, Xianxia immediately turned into a bird and quickly flew away. At the same time, a few Night Devil Kings rushed over as well, and there was a large group of them. After he flew away for a while, he sensed a very terrifying evil aura. He guessed that it was the appearance of the Night Devil King, and that aura made him feel that the Night Devil King was much stronger than those immortal kings. This place is dangerous indeed. A Night Devil King appeared so quickly. I wonder how many of these things are inside. Xianxia exclaimed. He did not want to meet those Night Devil Kings. 2 hours later, he arrived at the third safe route. This was a small river, and this river was very deep. The river water was very cold, and he dove into the river. The river was very clean, but it was less lively. Xianxia suddenly felt that the Night Devil might be afraid of the water. If not, the river would not be safe. At night, even if Xianxia was at the bottom of the river, he would still be able to hear the cries of the Night Deviless. This river is very narrow, but it's very deep. It doesn't seem like a normal river. Could it be that someone dug it out on purpose? This kind of river can't grow large beasts, so you don't need to worry about the giant beasts. Long Shui said. Someone who could create such a safe route would definitely understand the sacred beast's ancient realm very well, and his own strength was also very strong. The map had the symbol of the Dan Emperor, and the Dan Emperor was a legendary figure, so his strength was much stronger than the Ice Emperor. Xianxia followed the flow of the water. Feeling that the speed of the water flow was too slow, he swam forward even faster, because he was anxious to unravel the mystery of the map. And the map that Imperial Dragon Clan, Fire Divine Palace, and the others had pieced together, what kind of place would it lead to in the end, and what was inside. This road was very long, and according to the map, it was longer than the crevice in the mountain. This meant that Xianxia would have to spend a lot of time here. I can still see the devil-killing summit. Xianxia swam for a few days at the bottom of the river and peeked his head out. When he peeked his head out, the silver-white mountain had always been in that direction, as if it was following him around. I don't know what's going on, but it's only been 4 hours in the day and 20 hours in the night. Long Shui said. If it wasn't for the fact that there's a strong power controlling the time, then it's just that there's a powerful formation going against yin and yang, all for the sake of allowing the Night Devil more time to come out and take action. Is this all Night Devil? There's no other beast type here. This was the Sacred Beast's ancient realm, so even if he wasn't the Sacred Beast's ancient realm from back then, there should have been some beasts. When he had entered the crevice earlier, he had encountered an extremely terrifying beast tide, and even now, he still couldn't understand why that beast tide would appear. Xianxia suspected that there might be someone controlling a large group of gigantic beasts to prevent others from entering the depths of Sacred Beast's ancient realm. Out of the several 100,000 people that the big powers brought, who knew how many were left? In short, there would definitely be some that would die miserably. After all, there were so many of them, and they weren't that strong either. No, even if there were, it would be difficult to discover that the beasts here are most likely facing the threat of the Night Devil, so they rarely come by, and if there are, they should be of the Beast King category, and even if they are, it would be hard to survive if they were to face a few Night Devil Kings. Previously, in the 10,000 Beast Palace, there were a few old Beast Kings who said that they had escaped from this place and that they did not want to return. It seemed that they had endured many cruel tortures in the Night Devil Hell. In the blink of an eye, Xianxia had already been continuously advancing forward this long river for more than 10 days. What made him curious was that this small river had always had water, and it wasn't stopped at all, and was maintained in a perfect condition for tens of thousands of years, as if someone was specially protecting this river. Along the way, the 3 sections of safe routes were all unobstructed. Thinking back to it now, Xianxia felt that it was a little strange. Forget it. Forget it, Xianxia thought. Ever since Xianxia had been entangled by the meddling Night Devil King, he would try his best to avoid the Night Deviless. Although he was at the bottom of the river, both he and Long Shui could use the spirit traveling technique to observe the situation around them on the surface of the river. Although they had not seen the Night Devil King before, they could always feel the aura of the Night Devil King nearby. So Xianxia rarely exposed himself at night. Xianxia advanced under the river for 15 days. Based on his observations of his surroundings, he should be able to quickly enter the 4th safe route. There were a total of 6 sections to the safe route, and he was still half the way to the end of the map. For example, last time he almost disturbed that Night Devil lair, and there was even a conflict between him and that Night Devil King. But this time, he didn't know what he would encounter, so he had to make preparations to face danger at any time. Soon he saw a stone at the bottom of the river. This stone had a circular mark on it, indicating that he had to leave this river. The 3rd section of the safe route was over, and he had to turn from here to the 4th section. Xianxia would only go out during the day, and that way he would not meet the Night Devil. He had already determined that even the very powerful Night Devil King would not dare to appear during the day. Although there were no Night Devils in the day, this place wasn't absolutely safe. In order to avoid becoming's target, he became a small flying insect and flew towards the entrance of the 4th safe route. In Xianxia's opinion, the 4th section of the safe route was not very safe, because it was neither a crack nor a water route. Instead, it was a muddy road in a forest. To reach the forest, he would have to cross a large river and 2 tall mountains. Normally, this would not mean much to him, but here it was extremely difficult. Let's hurry up. Although I don't know if the forest is safe or not, it should be a safe route. There shouldn't be any problems. Long Shui urged. She wanted Xianxia to return to his human form, since that would be faster. In here, he only had 4 hours in the day, so Xianxia had to hurry back and step onto the safe route. Otherwise, if he were to meet those night devils, it would be a headache for him. He turned back into his human form and stepped onto the shrinking step on the ground. With extreme speed, he traveled through the forest and quickly saw the large river in front of him. The surface of the river was extremely calm as the river slowly flowed. On the surface, it seemed as if there was no danger, but the clear water of the river was abnormally quiet. Very quickly, he arrived in the middle of the river. Lowering his head to take a look, he immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, because he saw that there were 2 gigantic underwater shadows on the surface of the river. From the size of the shadows, it seemed like they were water beasts. Not only are they large in size, they are also very powerful. I wonder how many years they have lived here. Let's quickly distance themselves from this river. Long Shui said. Xianxia swallowed his saliva, increased his speed and flew in the air, trying his best to avoid too much noise. He was afraid that he would alarm the gigantic beast hiding in the river. However, in the water they can avoid being attacked by night devil. Those night devil are afraid of the water and the fire. The next time we go against them, we can use water to test how powerful they are. Xianxia was still in the air above the big river, but he could no longer see the 2 gigantic water phantoms. Just as he heaved a sigh of relief, the surface of the river suddenly fluctuated. Have they been discovered? Xianxia was terrified. He immediately turned into a small bird and quickly flew towards the shore. The surface of the river was rough, and huge wolves were rolling in the waves. Crash! He only saw a huge black shadow coming out from the river, and jumped into the air in a moment because this thing was too huge, like a huge towering mountain floating in the sky, and Xianxia was right below it, unable to see what it was. He could only see a black object with scales on it. What is this thing? Why is it so big? Xianxia asked Long Shui in shock. It seems to be Xian Wu beast. Long Shui was also shocked. It was her first time seeing such a huge thing with her own eyes. This enormous creature in the air was like a heavenly part of the universe. Xianxia had seen the white tiger before. It was normal for the black tortoise to appear in front of him. It was just that he did not expect to meet them here in the night devil hell, and there were even 2 of them. Before Xianxia could even clearly see Black Turtle's appearance, he was blown to the shore by a strong gust of wind. When he turned his head to look at the sky above the river, Black Turtle's gigantic body had already disappeared. He didn't find you. He found another guy. Long Shui immediately said, Look over there. The Xuanwu beast has turned into its benevolent form and is fighting with that guy. Is this black tortoise a saint beast? What is it? Xianxia's pupils contracted as he looked at the distant bursts of intense light flashing in the sky. I don't know. In short, that guy has a strong evil force on him. He might be a very powerful night devil, one that can appear during the day. This was only Long Shui's guess, but after Xianxia felt the qi that was transmitted here, he had the same thought. That kind of evil qi was indeed very similar to the night devil. Night devil could only appear at night, and those who appeared during the day were definitely very strong. Those who were not afraid of sunlight were existences that surpassed the night devil king. Xianxia did not dare stay here for long. There were still black tortoises in the night devil hell, and one that surpassed the strength of the immortal king. He only wanted to hurry to the location marked on the map and take everything he could take, then quickly leave this place. It seems like the daytime is also very dangerous. If that black tortoise had come to deal with him, his fate would have been very worrisome. Humph, why are those fellows from Dragon Emperor still so arrogant? If they were to come here, it would be difficult for them to deal with those 2 Xuanwu beasts. Furthermore, that night devil is also very strong. I wonder how many of those things are here. Seeing the black tortoise beast and the powerful night devil, she had a deeper understanding of this night devil hell. When Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were very young, they had heard many things about this night devil hell. They had always believed that this night devil hell was powerful, but they no longer doubted that it was so terrifying. Night devil, black tortoise, devil-killing summit, how many other powerful existences are there that we do not know about? It seems like there are powers fighting amongst them. Long Shui sighed. It's better to leave this place as soon as possible. Maybe after we go out, Dragon Emperor and the others will all be gone. Taking those 3 strong guys that Xianxia just met, even if Dragon Emperor and the rest came, they would probably only be able to escape. If we were to fight with the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, would we have any hope of defeating that black tortoise? Xianxia asked. I do not know the specific strength of the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, but if one of their Dan Emperors can enter here, and even make a path for us, he should be very strong, and should be able to fight those strong fellows from before to a draw. Long Shui thought about it and replied. Xianxia quickly went over 2 mountains. In front of him was the forest, which was filled with ancient trees. The lush branches and leaves were green and full of vitality. It was unlike the forests that were filled with death energy, and this made him feel that he was in a more normal place. When he was about to step into the forest, a white silhouette suddenly flashed past his eyes. In the broad daylight, when he saw this, he couldn't help but shiver because the white figure's speed was extremely fast. Furthermore, neither he nor Long Shui noticed it. Hello! Xianxia, who was in a daze, was suddenly patted on the shoulder, and even heard someone greeting him, made his entire body tremble violently, and suddenly break out in a cold sweat. In this sort of place, the things he was most afraid of were people who were neither human nor ghost. Furthermore, they were extremely strong and could even speak. Xianxia planned to charge forward into the forest without looking back. That was a safe route. Just as he took 2 steps forward, he felt a strong hand grab his wrist. He turned around and saw a 10-foot-tall, sturdy middle-aged man standing behind him. This middle-aged man was dressed in white, with a head of long and messy white hair, along with some dried-up leaves. From the looks of him, it seemed as if he had just rolled on the ground. What are you running for? Do I look that scary? Besides, why are you running before you even see me? As the middle-aged man spoke, he used his hand to tidy up his messy white hair. He was scary not because he was ugly, but because his face looked fierce, as if he wanted to chop someone into pieces, the kind that killed pigs without even blinking an eye. Are you human or a ghost? Xianxia took a deep breath and calmed himself down a little. He did not feel any life force from this person, let alone any energy aura. Of course I'm human. Do you want to enter this forest? The big, white-haired man suddenly became serious. He looked at the huge forest and a trace of fear and sadness suddenly appeared in his eyes. He let go of Xianxia, but Xianxia did not run. He knew that it would be hard for him to run. The middle-aged man was definitely strong. When he grabbed him, Xianxia had already noticed it. Yes, is there a problem? Xianxia replied vigilantly. The white-haired man frowned as he spoke in an extremely serious tone. Don't go. As long as you step into this forest, it will be very hard for you to get out. Why? Why? Xianxia found it hard to understand, because it was a safe route indicated on the map. He believed that there was no mistake because when he came here previously, he took the 3 sections of safe route which allowed him to be very safe. The white-haired middle-aged man seemed to know a lot of things. He immediately took out a map and spread it on the ground. Your map should be the same as this one. The 4th section is ahead. When Xianxia saw it, his heart jumped. The map was exactly the same as his. Could the 4th section be unsafe? Xianxia looked at the map, then looked at the ancient forest. It's not safe. No one who goes in will be able to come out. My wife was too anxious and did not come back after going in. I was lucky and found something wrong when I went in, so I could leave immediately. The white-haired middle-aged man said dejectedly. Didn't you go in with her? You didn't stop her. Xianxia did not believe what the middle-aged man said. We're a group of people. We'll split into groups, and I'll be in the group behind her. There's a total of 15 of us, and in the end only I am still here. 300,000 years have passed, and they still haven't come out. The white-haired middle-aged man sighed. 300,000 years. The corner of Chun Xiang's eyes twitched. For someone to be able to live for such a long time, he must be very strong. Senior, then do you know about the matter of the devil-killing summit? That silver-white mountain. And what exactly are those night devil-s here for? Seeing that the white-haired middle-aged man was easy to talk to, Chun Xiang immediately spoke out the question that had been in his mind for a long time. This is very complicated and cannot be explained with a few words. In short, if you still want to live, don't enter that forest. Since ancient times, many experts have entered and never came out. The white-haired, middle-aged man warned Chun Xiang. However, the reason why I'm here is precisely for that place. This is the goal that I've worked towards for many years. I cannot give up halfway. Chun Xiang said. The reason he came here was to go to the point indicated on the map. Take out your map. I want to see who drew it. Even though it's about the same, we can still tell who drew it. The white-haired, middle-aged man stretched out his hand and said. Chun Xiang took out a copy of the paper map. Because the original map was marked with the Dan Emperor, he wanted to test this middle-aged man. Senior, you were very famous back then, right? I wonder what your name is. Chun Xiang asked softly. Maybe Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu had heard of it before. The white-haired middle-aged man frowned as he looked at the map and said, My name is Bai Shan Yue. Have you heard of it? Chun Xiang asked Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao. Of course I've heard, it should be him. His character is very good, and he's fought against my master several times. He's a righteous person, but he disappeared many years ago. I didn't expect him to come here, Bai Yuyu said in shock. Chun Xiang told himself at this time that he had to hide his strength as much as possible. If this Bai Shan Yue found out that he understood devil arts, she would definitely exterminate him. Bai Yuyu's master was an old devil, so it was normal for him to be chased down by this Bai Shan Yue. A person on par with the heartless old devil must be very strong. Moreover, so many years have passed. No wonder he was able to live in this place for so long. He must be very strong. It was painted by the Dan Emperor, haha. I didn't expect him to leave behind a map. He went to that damned place himself and hasn't been seen since. The Bai Shan Yue laughed. Chun Xiang was secretly shocked. The Bai Shan Yue was truly amazing. Just by looking at the overturned map, he could already tell who drew the map. Senior Yu, the destination the map pointed to. What exactly is hidden there? Why are there so many experts desperately searching for it? Chun Xiang asked. His other purpose for coming here was to find the beast-slain method. To search for the beast-slain method. This was the sacred beast's ancient realm back then, and the reason why a large number of holy beasts were born was because the god-slain method was carved on a gigantic cliff. The Taiji dragon-suppressed Kung Fu, the four-phase magic Kung Fu, the Taiji magic Kung Fu. Wait, most of these were written according to the beast-slain method, so many people do not care about their lives as they ran over. The Bai Shan Yue said. When Chun Xiang heard it, his heart instantly felt a chill, because he knew that it would be extremely difficult to obtain the beast-slain method. Right now, Chun Xiang was facing a difficult decision, whether to walk into the forest or turn around and leave. Entering the forest, he might not be able to get out because Bai Shan Yue, this antique, had a few strong teammates who had gone in and did not come out. Furthermore, he had waited here for hundreds of thousands of years. Even an expert like Bai Shan Yue was unable to deal with the danger inside, let alone him. However, if he did not enter, he would not be able to obtain the beast-slain method and this trip would be a waste. Moreover, he felt that there might be a divine cauldron's lid that was not only contained within. Even the Dan Emperor did not come out, and this Bai Shan Yue is so much weaker than him. What kind of danger is hidden inside? Chun Xiang frowned as he thought. Perhaps you can come out. Although you are weaker than those guys, you are different from them. Moreover, you already have some heaven-earth killing method, so perhaps the things you have on you can allow you to go to that place unhindered. Long Shui said. She was also not willing to have Chun Xiang give up here and come here just because she couldn't wait. She didn't want to come here again after coming to this kind of place once. Young man, you need to go in. Seeing Chun Xiang considering, the Bai Shan Yue did not think that Chun Xiang would still have the intention to enter. Of course, I came here for this. although I only found out now that there is a beast-slain method inside," Xiang said as he held the map. Xiang had already made his decision. If he wanted to go in, he would need to take on a certain amount of risk in order to reap any rewards. A violent wave of air suddenly attacked from afar. Bai Shan Yue lightly waved his hand and opened it up. This was the battle between the Black Tortoise and a powerful Night Devil. Xiang had seen the Black Tortoise before. Xiang realized that the violent shock wave did not cause any damage to the ancient forest in front of him. It could be seen that the ancient forest was protected by a mysterious power. "If you want to go in, I won't stop you. I hope you can come out. Take care." The Bai Shan Yue seemed to be accustomed to this kind of situation, which made Xiang unable to help but think that the Bai Shan Yue had been here for many years, preventing people from entering the forest. However, many people did not listen to him. "Yes, I will do my best to find the people inside who are still alive." Xiang cupped his fist at the Bai Shan Yue, then turned and ran into the ancient forest. Just as Xiang entered the ancient forest, the sky suddenly darkened, and Night Devil flew everywhere. However, they did not dare approach the ancient forest, nor did they dare approach Bai Shan Yue. Not long after Xiang entered the ancient forest, he heard the Night Devils shout from outside. He had already gotten used to it after so many days, and he predicted that it would be dark soon after he entered. Not long after he heard the cries of the Night Devil, something surprising happened. The Night Devil's voice suddenly became softer and softer, and as he continued to speak, the Night Devil's voice gradually disappeared, making him wonder if he had heard wrongly. "What's going on?" Xiang immediately used spirit traveling technique. He wanted to see if there were any Night Devil flying in the sky, but who knew that his divine soul was unable to fly out. "This ancient forest is truly strange. My divine strength is unable to fly out of this forest, and I can feel that this forest seems to be rotating," Long Shui said. Xiang immediately turned around, wanting to leave the ancient forest. But no matter how he turned around, he didn't change his direction. In order to identify if he had gone in the wrong direction, he had even placed a spiritual crystal on the ground, and then turned around. But no matter how he turned, that spiritual crystal was still in front of him on the ground. What was even stranger was that when he was walking backwards, he was actually moving forward. It made people feel like the entire ground was rolling. Now he had no way out and could only move forward. "Am I inside a formation? If it's a formation, then I can break it open." Xiang was very calm at the moment. He continued to walk forward, but he was extremely vigilant because what the Bai Shan Yue said was true, and the safe route was not safe here. Now he began to admire the Bai Shan Yue, and if the Bai Shan Yue still managed to escape under such circumstances, it would be impossible for him to do it now. Originally, the forest was pitch black, but after he couldn't hear the Night Devil's cries, light gradually shined in this place. He felt that the days and nights in this forest had already returned to normal. "Am I in an illusion? These things are all very real." Xiang passed by a tree and touched it with his hand. He pinched his fingernails, causing some sap to come out from the tree trunk. "Everything in this forest is real," Long Shui said with certainty, because Xiang had broken off a few tree branches and placed them into the ring. If it was an illusion, those tree branches and ring would not exist, and would disappear the moment they entered the ring. However, Long Shui and the other two girls in the ring were able to touch very real leaves. Su Meiyao had also analyzed the age of the big tree and found out that it had actually existed for 1,000,000 years, because the life force contained in the sap had been in it for a long time. There shouldn't be any danger in here, otherwise these trees wouldn't have existed for such a long time, Su Meiyao said. If a battle had broken out, then this entire forest would have been destroyed long ago. But now, this place had survived for 1,000,000 years or even longer. From then on, it could be seen that there were very few battles occurring within the forest. However, Xiang still had to be vigilant because if he encountered anything, he could only move forward. He walked very slowly. After about 2 hours, he suddenly saw a pile of white bones under a tree that was even larger than the surrounding area. Even during the daytime, the snow-white bones still emitted a faint white glow. When one walked in, they would feel as if this bone was naturally formed from white jade. This guy's body must be very strong. I didn't expect him to die here. Long Shui said. The bones that have turned into white jade are evolving into the shape of a jade dragon. Oh, is my bones the same now? Although Chun Xiang could see his own body from the inside, he couldn't see the specific appearance of his own bones. It's far away. Your current bones are at most stronger, but if you encounter a divine weapon, you can still break it. However, this jade bone in front of you is very difficult to break. Try it if you don't believe me, Long Shui said. The person who died here was very strong, and might even be Bai Shan Yui's friend. However, Chun Xiang was sure that this was a man, because his bones were thicker, he could tell at a glance. Although it was disrespectful towards the dead, Chun Xiang only wanted to try his fingers. He took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and its bones and placed them on top of the hammer, then used the green dragon demon-slain broadsword to cut down on it. He felt that even if it was a material for refining holy level, it would still break after being chopped like that. After a series of tremors rang out, Chun Xiang was shocked in his heart, because that tiny finger bone was not cut at all. As long as the soul was still there was still a chance for him to be revived. But right now, in the situation that Chun Xiang was in, his bones could actually not be destroyed, but he did not know how he managed to cultivate it. This is the strongest human skeleton I've ever seen. Maybe even those 9 emperors and 5 venerables back then weren't as strong as this guy's bones. I never thought that he would actually die here. Long Shui exclaimed. I'm already a body of heavenly sage. Is this still not strong enough? Chun Xiang felt that his body could already be considered a very strong existence among humans, but there was still someone who was thousands of times stronger than him. The body of heavenly sage is very strong. What do you think about comparing it with this jade bone? Long Shui asked. Comparing my ass, I can't even break a divine weapon. This guy can't even be considered a human. Only now did Chun Xiang feel that this sacred beast's ancient realm was so terrifying. If even a person with such a strong body would die here, what about him? The owner of this skeleton could very well be the Dan Emperor, Bai Yu suddenly said. In the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, the Dan Emperor alone occupied 2 spots. The Pill Elder and Dan Yenjing were him, and many people did not know about them at the time. This showed just how terrifying his strength was. Is there any evidence? Chun Xiang asked. You should be very clear that you used flames to temper your own body. In the past, you often used them to temper your own body, and during that era, only a few people had such a strong flame. Fire Emperor, Dan Emperor, and Divine Craftsman were one of them, and Bai Shan Yui said that the Dan Emperor came here and never went out. Although Bai Shan Yui and his group are very strong, they are nothing in front of Dan Emperor. Dan Emperor is an existence close to God, and only his fleshly body is close to the divine body realm. Right now, he is only at the holy bone stage. Bai Yu explained. He died without any power, but even the divine weapons were unable to cut through his bones. When he was still alive, he was indeed very powerful. Chun Xiang had the vermilion bird skeleton, but the bones of a holy beast like the vermilion bird weren't that strong. But Dan Emperor is so powerful, how could he possibly die? Chun Xiang was in disbelief. Even Fire Yenjing was still alive, and if the Ice Emperor wasn't killed by him, he would still be half dead. However, this Dan Emperor only had 1 set of bones. He didn't die, he just gave up his physical body, and his divine soul left his physical body. He used other methods to leave this place. Su Meiyao said, It should be like this. He is a Dan Emperor and it is impossible for him to die of old age. Furthermore, he has such a powerful physique. There is nothing that can harm him. There was no wound on the white bone at all. Chun Xiang dug a hole in the ground, buried the white bone well, and then continued on his way. Even if he turned his head back now, he would not be able to see the road he had taken just now. He felt that the space he was in was the same as time, he couldn't retreat. Better than time, he could walk left and right, but to do that with Crab, he had to run faster or stay where he was. If that's really the Dan Emperor, I wonder what he got from this place. After he left this place, where did he go? Chun Xiang said. I don't know, maybe he went to a higher realm, or continued to muddle through the 9 heavens. If he could cultivate out a stronger physical body, he would be able to rule over the heaven realm, which is just like a small fry in front of him. He is a true great emperor of his generation. Long Shui said. Xianxia took out the map and looked at it carefully. This forest was very big, and it was also surrounded by a large mountain. Walking out of the forest, one would be able to arrive at a desert. And above the desert there was a very large river. There was also a passageway at the bottom of the river, and that was the 5th section of the safe route. Xianxia didn't know whether he could leave this forest or not, because the Baishan Yue had said before that none of the people that entered were able to leave. Baishan Yue had only discovered the danger and immediately escaped as fast as he could. At least for now I'm safe. According to the clues I've obtained, my greatest danger is being trapped here. Xianxia kept the map and rushed forward without a worry. If that white bone is really the Dan Emperor, then that guy is too strong. He should have already reached the final destination. According to the special space in this place, it's very hard for him to walk any further, but he's still there, and I don't know how he did it. If he continues to work hard, he might even be able to walk out. The place where the bones were found was very close to the outside. It's hard to say. Perhaps every step he takes will take him a year or 10 years, and the strength he needs may be very strong as well. He may not be able to last any longer, and sometimes he just has to endure for a moment. Xianxia felt that in the future, when he met Dan Emperor, he would definitely ask him how he felt at that time. 2 days had passed and Xianxia was still in the forest. He had not encountered any danger along the way, but just when he was starting to relax, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. The trees he passed by earlier were all full of life, but the large area in front of him had all lost its leaves. The trees were all bald and withered, and the hot sunlight was not blocked by the dense foliage. Instead, it was shining directly on the ground. Weird, almost all the trees in front died, and this happened only recently. Long Shui said. If this had happened a long time ago, these ancient trees would have already rotted in the endless water moon. As soon as Xianxia stepped into the withering woods, his face immediately changed. What's wrong? Long Shui asked anxiously. Hurry up and give me a longevity fruit. It will lose your life force here, Xianxia said. Fortunately, Xianxia had prepared a few longevity fruit in the serene jade ring. Furthermore, with his current cultivation, these longevity fruit could help him extend his life for a very long time. After he ate the longevity fruit, his expression became much warmer. Staying here for 1 day would take at least 1 year of lifespan. If there were no longevity fruit, and I was trapped here for a long time, I would die of old age before long. Is it because of the passage of time? Or is it because of some other reason? Long Shui asked. There is a force that is devouring my life force, not the passage of time. In short, I cannot stay here for too long. I wonder if the road ahead will continue like this forever. Xianxia's face became gloomy, because the safe route was no longer safe. Although there was no way back before, at least it was safe and no life-threatening events occurred. But now something strange happened. Seems like the person who created this safe route has powerful strength. It might even be the 10 Heavens' Supreme Lord. Long Shui said, the beast slain method is extremely important for the entire beastman race. Back then, it was precisely because of the beast slain method that the beastmen had so many holy beasts. But why does the 10 Heavens' Supreme Lord have to protect the beast slain method like this? Can't they just destroy the cliff directly? Long Shui was extremely confused. We'll have to wait for Old Man Duan to find more information before we can find out. Something must have happened that year. So this sacred beast's ancient realm became a night devil hell. Xianxia sighed. This was something he had always wanted to know. Xianxia rushed there overnight, and after a total of 20 days, he finally left the forest and stepped into the desert on the map. He prepared to take the 5th safe route, but he was still unable to go any further when he arrived at the desert. The 5th safe route was under the bottom of a large river. He followed the map and found the large river in the desert, but it was already dried up. Before, there was a large river outside the forest. That river was much smaller than this one, but it did not dry up. Furthermore, there were 2 huge Xuanwu beasts. This made Xianxia unable to understand. This desert was extremely hot, without any immortal qi. He felt that something was devouring the energy in this area. Although it has dried up, we still have to follow that safe route to avoid any accidents. When Xianxia arrived at the bottom of the river, if he were to look down at the river from a high vantage point, this large river would definitely seem like a huge crevice in the ground. At the bottom of the dried-up river, a ditch could clearly be seen. This ditch was the safe way. It was as deep as 3 people, and now that Xianxia was running inside, if there was water, this ditch would probably be safer, just like the river before. This was the 5th section of the safe route. After passing through this desert, they would reach a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain, there was a very long tunnel that led to a huge valley. Ever since he entered the area with no way of turning back, he had never seen those little night devils. Not even his voice could be heard. However, he still felt irritated because this place was like a land of death, and there was no way of turning back yet. There's nothing here. This river should be the biggest one here, right? Some of the skeletons of aquatic beasts are fine as well. Xianxia was running frantically under that ditch. This dried-up river was empty. He did not find any water beasts that were as big as the black tortoise. Do you think all the beasts have jade bones? Corpses and corpses have all been destroyed after tens of thousands of years. Long Shui said. Xianxia sighed in his heart. Right now, the only hope he had of getting out was to go to the end point and find the beast slain method. I wonder if my friends from Baishan Yue and his wife will still be alive. Maybe I'll be able to meet them, Xianxia said. It's hard to say. Even if they're alive, they're probably at the very back of the group. If you don't go back, it would be very hard for you to meet them here. Long Shui asked. In this desert, is your lifespan still being devoured? Bai Yu asked. I can probably devour you even more in one day, but fortunately, I have longevity fruit, Xianxia said. At night, Xianxia madly ran in the ravine as he raised his head to look at the stars in the night sky. There were normal sun, moon, and stars here, but the space was so strange. Could it be that Night Devil has never been here before? Those Night Devil are all full of pig brains. This place should be filled with Night Devil. Xianxia suddenly became suspicious. He did not see Night Devil's corpse at all along the way. It's indeed strange. Those Night Devils should have hidden in here. Could it be because Baishan Yue has been guarding that place for so many years? Su Meiyao also felt that it was strange. It was night now, and also when the Night Devil appeared. This place could be considered as inside the Night Devil hell, and it was rather close to the center, but the noisy Night Devil noises could not reach here. However, the silence here made people feel some fear. In this silent and lifeless place, they always felt that they were in a place filled with lost souls. Is there something I can't see here? When Xianxia thought of this, he immediately felt goosebumps. Impossible. My divine soul is so strong. Even with something that I can't see around me, I can still sense it. Although Long Shui said this, Xianxia still opened the eye of primal chaos above his forehead. The moment he opened the eye of primal chaos, he inhaled a deep breath of cold air, which greatly surprised Long Shui, and anxiously asked, What do you see? Are there really many things that you can't see? Some. I don't know how to describe it. But there are a few blurry people floating around with blood all over their bodies. All of the immortal qi in this piece of land was absorbed by this thing, so I don't know what they are. Xianxia said. How many? Bai Yu asked in a low voice. She seemed to know something. There are a lot of them. They are all so dense that they can easily penetrate my body. I think my life force should have been absorbed by these people who are neither human nor ghost. Xianxia withdrew the eye of primal chaos, because those things were truly too frightening. It should be the vengeful spirit. Most of these fellows that you saw had ferocious looks on their faces. They looked like they were at the last moment before their deaths. Bai Yu said, Emichim, they are indeed very much like those who are about to die, but they don't have any grievances on them, and Shui can't feel them either. Xianxia was very suspicious of this matter. He could even sense the remaining remnant souls after death. If he did not use the Chaos Divine Eye, he would not be able to see those things. This type of soul resentment is different. The soul power of these vengeful souls has been extracted, leaving behind only an empty shell. Some extremely weak resentments formed an image that only those with special abilities would be able to see. I don't know why there is such a strange phenomenon. In short, this is probably the case as well. The power here will be crazily devoured, and it is also the result of these vengeful spirits because there are too many vengeful spirits here. Sister Yu, what is the use of these vengeful spirits? I feel like a large number of them are sealed here. Xianxia asked. Maybe it was brought in when the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was killed that year. I heard that many people died at that time. I'm not sure what use it has, but someone did indeed intentionally seal a large number of vengeful spirits here. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so dense. Bai Yu said. Now Xianxia finally understood why his lifespan was being devoured. It was because he had too many of these invisible vengeful spirits by his side. Could it be related to those night devils? And maybe these things are used to create those night devils? If you want to create a life form, you must first have a large number of souls. All kinds of medicinal herbs have spirits, but they are very weak. If the spirits of the flowers, plants and trees are strong, they can also turn into benevolence and benevolence. Long Shui said. It's very possible that someone extracted the spirit and left these useless and uncontrollable vengeful spirits here. Right now, those night devils are still appearing non-stop. Where did they get such a large amount of souls? Could it be that there's a very powerful formation here, and how to gather those floating souls? Bai Yu frowned. She also felt that this must be related to the night devils. Xianxia also didn't want to open his chaotic eyes again. Looking at that kind of thing would only make him even more unhappy. It was daybreak. Under Long Shui's urging, Xianxia opened his eyes once again. But this time, he did not see any of the tormented souls. He's gone, Xianxia said in shock. Indeed, vengeful spirits only have malicious intents. They fear the scorching sun. Although those vengeful souls do not have their own consciousness, they can instinctively avoid the scorching sun. Bai Yu said, doesn't that mean he's the same as the night devil? A thought flashed in Xianxia's mind. Those night devils that howl at night might have actually vented the anger in their hearts, as well as the unwillingness to die. Bai Yu said in a serious tone. Clearly someone intentionally created a large number of night devils. I don't know how he did it, but in short, this is not a good thing. The guy who created a large number of night devils also had ill intentions, because over the years, in this large group of night devils, he has already evolved and produced a very powerful night devil. Only knew about the existence of this thing but had never seen it before. He felt that there must definitely be more than one night devil that did not fear the sunlight. Looks like this batch of night devil are also very powerful existences in this heaven realm. If they were to be controlled one day, then wouldn't it mean that the heavens would change? Xianxia could not help but think that when night fell, thousands and thousands of night devils would suddenly cover the sky, and like a sudden rain, they would swoop down and attack the life forms above the 9 heavens. Xianxia also floated in the air at this time, arriving on the ground. This was still a desert, but he could see that in the direction of the sun, there was a large stone mountain. As long as they passed through that stone mountain, they would be able to reach their destination. As long as we pass this mountain, we'll be almost there. Xianxia ran towards the stone mountain. What he was more worried about right now was how to leave this place because he had no way of retreating right now and could not turn back. The moment he stepped into the group of mountains, he felt the ground shake violently, as if something had been disturbed by him the moment he entered this place. Did you find anything? Xianxia stood in place without moving because he felt that wave of trembling was due to his appearance. It was right for Xianxia to stand there without moving, because he suddenly sensed that a barrier had appeared in front of him. It was difficult for him to see it with his naked eyes, but he could sense it, and he did not know what the consequences would be if he stepped into the barrier. What he could do now was to bypass this barrier and continue towards his destination. Although he couldn't walk forward, he could move left and right to avoid the barrier. However, just as he took a few steps forward, the ground suddenly shook again. Soon after, he saw a figure flying over from the distance and stopped on top of a small stone mountain. There was actually someone inside, which surprised Xianxia quite a bit. If that person was a bit stronger, he wouldn't be so surprised, because it was very likely that he was a friend of the Baishan Yue, and the person currently standing on top of the small mountain was a handsome young man in white with a delicate face. His strength was about the same as the late period of human immortal, so he didn't know how to restrain himself at all. After entering that spirit formation, we can retreat. Xianxia thought, because the man was able to fly towards him, it was obvious that he was not affected by the strange spatial laws. The young man just stood on top of the small mountain and looked at Xianxia with wide eyes, not saying a word. However, just as he was about to enter the barrier, the white-clothed youth who was standing on top of the small mountain suddenly shouted out and waved his hand to release a ray of light. Upon closer inspection, it was a good-quality immortal sword, probably because the middle-grade immortal sword had been injected with a strong force that carried a sharp killing intent. Flying straight towards Xianxia in anger because he did not do anything at all, and under the pain of the person, he shouted loudly, and did not dodge at all as he grabbed the tip of the sword, causing the sword to stop. Xianxia shouted angrily. The killing intent from the white tiger gloves on his hands immediately surged out, filling his arms with power, adding the anger in his heart. He used a huge amount of power to forcefully break the middle-grade immortal sword. The white tiger gloves could be considered a godly weapon. In his hands, the middle-grade immortal sword was no different from an ordinary weapon. With just a few movements, it was easily crushed. The white-robed young man was equally infuriated when he saw his beloved immortal sword destroyed. He didn't expect this person to be so powerful. This is a holy land, and we've been here for many years to protect this place from outsiders. Anyone who dares to step foot into this place will die. The white-clothed youth knew that he was not Xianxia's match and did not dare to walk forward, because Xianxia had also not entered the barrier. Xianxia asked. If this was really someone else's territory, he really couldn't go in. No, we are human. This used to be the sacred land of the beast race, but now that they have left, it belongs to us. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. Although he had a calm expression, Xianxia could already see a hint of fear in his eyes. The white-clothed youth had clearly been frightened by the move he had revealed just now. Xianxia glanced at the white-clothed youth, then walked around the barrier. As long as he did not step inside, there would be no conflicts of interest. Right now, that sacred ground had already been taken by someone, and after many years, the people inside should all be very strong. Xianxia used the Heaven Tour, wanting to enter the barrier to check out the strength of the group inside. However, he was stopped by the barrier. He knew that if he stepped inside, he would not be able to come out because there was no way out from the barrier. Han Chun, what happened? As soon as they heard the delicate shout from afar, a woman dressed in a simple blue dress floated over. She had a gentle smile on her face as she gracefully landed behind the young man, bewitching him with her movements. When Han Chun saw the lady, his originally stern face immediately revealed a smile, but his voice was still serious. Xianxiang, there is a foreign person there. He destroyed my immortal sword just now. He is very powerful. Go back and report it to the clan elders. Get them to send the immortal monarch over. Mu Qianxiang looked at Xianxiang, and Xianxiang also looked at her, with a slight smile on his face. Right now, Xianxiang was using his own appearance, although he was not a very handsome man. At least if a woman saw him, she would not hate him so much. Although the two were separated by a long distance, they could still clearly see each other. Mu Qianxiang could already tell that Xianxiang was only at the middle stage of the worldly immortal stage. But when she saw Xianxiang's eyes that were as deep as the sea, she almost lost her mind. Mu Qianxiang immediately frowned and closed her eyes. This woman actually knows some kind of mind-reading sacred art. She wanted to see through your thoughts, but I didn't expect you to backfire on her. Long Shui laughed. You almost made her lose her mind. If it got serious, she would become a fool. Fortunately, I've trained in the soul-absorbing devil spell. Using such a move against this woman is simply courting death. Xianxiang laughed. This person shouldn't have any malicious intentions. Can't we just let him in? At night, it will be very dangerous outside. I wonder how he got here, Mu Qianxiang said in a low voice, and then glanced at Xianxiang. Right now, she didn't dare to look at him too much. We can't let him in, this is a rule. Han Chen's face was stern, he said angrily. I actually hope that guy comes in, so that I can kill him, and actually destroy my immortal sword. After Xianxia, who was moving around the barrier, heard this, he shouted, You used the immortal sword to attack me first. At that time I also hoped that you would come over. Who asked you to step into the spirit formation? Hanshan roared. Can't you give me a warning from the distance that you have to use such a barbaric method? I haven't entered the barrier yet, so with my strength, once I enter, I can immediately slaughter both of you. However, I'm not as unreasonable as you. Xianxia replied indifferently. In Xianxia's eyes, Hanshan was just a wet behind the ears brat. Furthermore, he would get angry easily. Xianxia secretly praised him for having such good self-control. Compared to him, Hanshan was indeed much worse. Do you want to walk around the spirit formation? It's impossible for you to pass through it. The area that the spirit formation covers is very big and it spans almost the entire region. Mu Qianxiang shouted. Qianxiang, go and call the elders over. This person destroyed my immortal sword. We cannot let him go like this. Hanshan was a little angry and spoke in a much louder voice to Mu Qianxiang. What's the use of an elder coming? Who dares to walk out of the spirit formation? It's not like he's going to come in. If you want to deal with him, at least let him in. Mu Qianxiang snorted, as he was filled with discontent. Xianxiang did not walk forward but chose to sit down instead. He smiled and said, It seems like even if you all let me in, I won't enter anymore, in case I get killed. I'll instead wait here for your elders to come and see how they deal with me. Xianxiang felt that the two young men and women in front of him must have grown up in this sacred ground. Furthermore, their knowledge of the outside world must be different from those in the heaven realm. Right now, her eyes were flickering, and they were filled with endless desire to learn. They could tell that she really desired the outside world, and that was why she was able to use the mind reading, or even the ability to search for the memories of other people to deal with Xianxiang. It was only that her desire was broken. Hurry up and go. Hanshan shouted. I can't leave this place, in case he sneaks in. Xianxiang did indeed have such plans. He planned to wait until night before sneaking in. Why don't you go? I'll just watch over him from here. I'm stronger than you, and my celestial sword wasn't destroyed. Mu Qianxiang said somewhat angrily. Her beautiful face no longer had the gentle smile from before. Qianxiang, you're not young anymore. Furthermore, we will be holding a marriage ceremony soon. At that time, you will be marrying and having children. Why are you still quarreling all day? An elder walked through the air and quickly arrived behind Mu Qianxiang. Don't marry him. He's always the one who pisses me off first, and he doesn't respect me at all. Mu Qianxiang snorted lightly. Humph. There are many women who want to marry me. It's better if you don't marry them, so that you don't have to spend all your time arguing with my other women. As a woman, you only know how to cultivate all day. You don't have to worry about this kind of thing. What you have to do is take care of your children at home, serve your husband, and take care of the chores. Hanshan sneered. When Xianxiang saw the old man, he immediately stood up. Your old man gave him a lot of pressure. This old man looked very spirited. He had a head full of white hair, but he did not look old at all. His skin was as tender as Mu Qianxiang's. Hanshan, you already have more than 10 women, but even if they combined their powers, they still wouldn't be able to beat me. What's the use? Mu Qianxiang was enraged by Hanshan's words. He did not look like a virtuous lady anymore, and had a face full of killing intent. Shut up. The old man let out a light shout, but it was as if a thunderclap had exploded in his ears, and both Hanshan and Mu Qianxiang didn't dare to speak anymore. When the old man came here, he stared at Xianxiang. He knew that those who were able to come here were all extraordinary characters, but the man in front of him was emitting such a weak innate chi aura, although he looked very shrewd, with a face full of wind and frost, looking mature and steady. What are you doing here? The old man asked. Although he had already guessed the answer, he still had to confirm it. I came here on the basis of a map. I have no way out now, you should know that. Xianxiang sighed.